Hi, thank you so much for clicking on this video and welcome back to my channel, Bronwyn'sbooks. Today I'm going to be ranking all the movie adaptations I have seen. So the way I will be ranking these is based on accuracy to the book, performances of the actors, and whether or not it's a good movie, whether or not I want to watch it. We are going to start with the worst to the best, and the worst book to movie adaptation I have seen is Percy Jackson and the Olympians. So they made The Lightning Thief and The Sea of Monsters into movies, and they were horrible. If you have read Percy Jackson and seen these movies, you have to agree. They are just not good. Let's start with performance. So the actors are good, but it seems so staged. I know it is staged, it's acting, but it doesn't seem natural. Especially Annabeth's character, she was just really stiff. It might have been good acting and it was just a bad movie or a bad script, but it wasn't that good. Accuracy to the books, oh my goodness, do not get me started. It was really not accurate. There are so many little changes, not to mention the huge changes. If you've read Lightning Thief, you will know that the entire plot of the book is them trying to go and find the lightning bolt. On the way, save Percy's mom. In this, the entire plot is finding these pearls so that they can go to the underworld, find his mom, and then get out of the underworld. Him finding the pearls is one sentence in the book. They just took the entire plot and changed it. And then Sea of Monsters, they basically were
okay, this last one got so many bad ratings, but we're able to make another one, so let's just finish it off.
So they took things from Battle of the Labyrinth and Last Olympian and added them to the end so that they could kind of finish it off. They took nothing from Titan's Curse, mind you. And then at the end, they still ended on the cliffhanger that the second book ends on, which was just confusing. Just the way that they did some things. Percy would never say that. Chiron would never allow that. They wouldn't be doing this. It was just not accurate. And then would I watch these again? I've actually seen both movies twice. I watched them once with myself after I finished the series, and then I just watched them with my brother and sister because my brother is currently reading the books, and then my sister wanted to watch them with us. And so here's the thing. My sister, who has never read the books, thought they were good movies and she wanted them to make another one. My brother and I did not like them because we read the books. We knew what was supposed to happen. There's that. So if you haven't read the book, they hold up, I think. But if you've read the books, no. Watch them for some comedy. If you want to make fun of something, go ahead. I would watch them again solely to make fun of them. But no, I wouldn't really watch them again. So that's Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief, and The Sea of Monsters. Percy Jackson is also by Rick Riordan, if you didn't know. I saw this thing that said that they should make all the books by Rick Riordan kind of like an MCU type of thing, and I'm here for it, and I really want that to happen. You could have him do Stan Lee stuff, because they're all interconnected, and then I don't know, it would be so good. Anyway, next we have Twilight by Stephanie Meyer. This book, I don't know, performance-wise in this movie, really bad. What's her face? Kristen Stewart, who plays Bella, she cannot get out a full sentence. I don't know if they wrote it into her character and script. I think if we took out all the pauses in people's sentences, this movie would be half the length. So performance-wise, I don't think it was very good. Accuracy. See, it was pretty accurate, which is kind of sad because it's a bad movie. It's just not very good, but it's accurate, which is the strange thing, I think. The movie's really bad, but so is the book. So they kind of are equal parts bad, but I think the book is a little better. The movie kind of speeds things up a bit, the book is a little slower. And then whether or not I would watch it multiple times, I've seen the entire saga once, and I don't think I would watch it again. I would watch it again with if someone hadn't watched it, or if someone wanted to watch it, I wouldn't be opposed, but I'm not gonna watch it again by myself. It's just not worth it. So that one's higher than Percy Jackson simply because of the accuracy. Next we have Divergent. So again, I have seen this one once. I've read the books multiple times, but the movies I've seen once because I had to rent them. Let's start with the first movie. The first movie was pretty accurate. It's kind of hard for me to remember, but the performance was good. The accuracy, I think it was accurate, but any adaptation there were issues. It was really accurate up until the end they started changing things, and that's when I got frustrated. But of the three, it is the most accurate and the best. And then would I watch it again? Yeah, I think I would watch it again, but mainly oh, I just read them and now I'm immersed in this world and now I need to get more, not as something that I enjoyed. Then Insurgent was nothing like the book. Acting just as good as the first one. The accuracy was not very much like the book. It was very loosely based off it. And then Allegiant. Acting just as good, if not slightly worse in this one, I think. I don't know why I think that. I just do. Accuracy, not very good. These two were like the same in accuracy. Spoiler alert, skip to this time if you don't want a spoiler. At the end of this, Tris dies. And in the movie, she does not, in fact, die. There are just some issues. The next thing on my list is The Maze Runner by James Dashner. Oh, I keep forgetting to do this. Divergent is by Veronica Roth. I think it was good. I didn't really have issues with it. I think they felt stiff at times, but not too stiff. And so on the other ones, I was ranking like all the movies, all the books. But this one, I did not finish the second book, so I did not watch the second movie, and I'm pretty sure there's a third movie. Didn't watch that because I didn't finish the series. This one, I'm solely basing it off the first movie and the first book, and I'll talk about that in another video, which will probably come up next week. Anyway, this movie was pretty good. It was accurate in a lot of ways. I think there were some changes that I didn't really like how they got out of the maze was not at all like I pictured it, so I don't know if it was just that it wasn't accurate or if it just wasn't how I thought of it as accurate, which isn't my fault. That would then be up to James Dashner for writing it not well enough. Actually, this book has one of those things where it has like scenes from the movie, so maybe I'll get some inspo. And there was some stuff that was missing that like I was excited to see or that I felt like were vital and then just never happened. And then would I watch this again? Probably. Like, if someday I pick it up again and then I read Scorch Trials, Death Cure, and Kill Order, then I'll probably watch it again and I'll watch all the movies. But because at this point I'm not going to finish the series, I think I'm just good at where I'm at. Next we have, you can't tell what this book is, Wonder by Rj Palacio. So this is definitely a bit of a younger book, but I really liked it as a kid, and me and my sister just rewatched it last night. Actually, it was her first time watching it, but my, like, fourth. Acting. Yeah, good acting. It didn't seem too stiff. Via's character, and possibly Miranda's, I think could have been executed a little better. Other than that, I think it was all good choices. Accuracy, it was pretty accurate. I know there are a lot of backstory that's missing because they couldn't really put it in there. Like small things, like at the end they watch Wizard of Oz, not Sound of Music. Just like tiny things like that aren't that big a deal, but like I think they're a big deal as just being me. As far as like compared to Percy Jackson, it's super accurate. It's mainly just kind of things at the end that are inaccurate. And then would I watch it again? The answer is yes. I watched it in theaters with my grandma, with my dad, with my sister last night, and I feel like I watched it another time, but I might not have. So yeah, I would definitely watch it again, seeing as I've already seen it 3 or 4 times. Next we have Anne of Green Gables. Also, look at my beautiful Anne of Green Gables collection. Okay, so I have this one, which is from Puffin in Bloom, and it's absolutely gorgeous. Then for Anne of Avonlea, I have this copy, which I also really like. And then I just got this one, Anne of the Island, and this one's also super pretty. So it's like a 6-book series. My goal is to have a different style for each one, because I feel like that would be super cool. Anyway, so this one's a show, and it is called Anne with an E, not Anne of Green Gables. And let's start with the actors. So the actors are brilliant. Amy Beth McNulty is like perfect for Anne. It's all really good. Accuracy. So it's not the most accurate throughout the whole thing. It takes a lot from Anne of Green Gables, but it also adds its own things, because Anne of Green Gables was written by Ellen Montgomery in like, let's see if I can find out what year it was written. 1908. Obviously, the way that she represented a woman was actually like ahead of the times, kind of, with Anne's imagination and adventurousness. That's not a word. Anne's personality was ahead of the times, but then Anne with an E takes it further and adds a lot of feminism and things like that were not talked about in Anne of Green Gables, maybe a little bit, but not as much because of the time it was written. So it's not the most accurate, but like the changes they make are good changes. It's not like they changed it and it's like, why the heck did you do that? Would I watch it again? Yes, I've seen the series 3 times, I think. It's my absolute favorite TV show. I love the 1800s. It's my favorite time period, the late 1800s. I love Anne of Green Gables. The fact that I love the show makes me really happy. And I've seen it 4 times, and it's like my comfort show, which is kind of weird because like the first few episodes are kind of dark. But yeah, it's a really good show. If you haven't watched it, watch it. If you haven't read Anne of Green Gables, read Anne of Green Gables. Next, I don't actually have all of these books because I'm trying to collect my own, because when I read them the first 2 times I read my dad's copies, and now I really want my own. So the next one we have is Harry Potter. So I have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets because I want to collect them all in like these copies. I want The first one, Hufflepuff, Ravenclaw, Gryffindor, Slytherin, Gryffindor, Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff. So that if they're standing together, it'll be like, ooh. Like, it'll come together to the middle one. Anyway, so when I go shopping at a bookstore, I always look for them. And so far, I've only been able to find this one in the one I want, because I want them in hard copy. And then I also have Cursed Child, because I got it for Christmas a few years ago. Anyway, so Harry Potter is like the biggest series in the world, and it's kind of like near the middle top of my list. It's a good series. As far as performance goes, they chose good actors, accurate actors. Some of them aren't the greatest, but in general, like overall, they're all pretty good. I think I ranked them, actually. And my favorite movie was Prisoner of Azkaban, I think. Then Goblet of Fire, Half-Blood Prince, Deathly Hallows Part 2, Deathly Hallows Part 1, Order of the Phoenix, Philosopher's Stone, Chamber of Secrets. I think accuracy, there are definitely a lot of things that are different and that were left out. I think the issue was that they were making the movies as the books were coming out, so they didn't know that some things were important when they made the movie. And I've got my little Harry Potter that I got for my birthday. So watch that video. This is from the fourth one. I lost my train of thought. My sister just came in to tell me something. If you don't know, Harry Potter is by J.K. Rowling. Yeah, accuracy. It's really hard to get all the details in a books that are so well mapped out and have so many little details, and like you can't just please everyone with this book. Would I watch it again? Yes. I've seen the series multiple times. It's really good. It's kind of all I have to say about it. Next, Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. This is like another Puffin and Bloom, the same as my Anne of Green Gables, and look how stinking pretty it is. I also have A Little Princess. Anyway, Little Women. All the ones I can like remember off the top of my head, and by the top of my head I mean the top of my head when I was writing down my ratings, is 1994, 2019, 1933, and 1949. I'm going to talk about the two that I've seen, which is 1994 and 2019. So the 1994 version, I watched it a couple years ago and it was really good. I felt the acting was really good, especially by the character who played Beth. Yeah, it was just well done. It was accurate. There were some points that were missing, but this book is 777 pages. You cannot have every single thing in here. And would I watch it again? Yeah, I actually want to watch that one again. I just have to find what streaming site it's on, or if someone owns it. And then the 2019 version, I saw it in theaters while I was reading the book the first time, and I've seen it once or twice since. That one is really good. The acting, really good, I think. See, I had some more issues with this one because, like, they split up the timing. It would, like, show all the times that they had Christmas, and then all the times that they were with Beth, and then all the times that, like, Meg was with this guy that she eventually married. Like, stuff like that. Throughout the whole thing, the string pulling it all together was Jo coming home and her reliving all these memories. But it was kind of hard to tell when each thing happened. You had to pay attention to the length of their dress, how their hair was, like, the brightness. So it was kind of hard to follow. And then also in like the 1994 version, they had a younger actress for Amy and then an older actress for Amy, and then with the other girls they just did up their hair to make them older. But in this one they had the same actors. She was in Black Widow. Why can't I think of her name? Florence Pugh. They had Florence Pugh for Amy both times, and then they had to like have her braids down in a shorter dress to try and be like, oh look, she's little now. It's like, but she's not, because she was like 13 and then by the end she's like 20, so she would have grown the most compared to like Jo, who's like 16 and then like 22, because she's stopped growing at that point, kind of. Timothy Chalamet has a good jawline. Oh, Chalamet. And what's in it? Anyway, and would I watch it again? The first one I want to watch again. 2019 version I have seen multiple times and would watch again. I feel like this is a really long video. Doo-da, doo-da. This is a really long video. Doo-da, doo-da day. Next we have To All the Boys I Loved Before by Jenny Han. I only own the second one. I've only read the first two, so I've only watched the first two movies. I'm sorry to say, but this is an adaptation where I like the movie better than the book. It happened. It happened. Acting. I think they picked really good actors, perfect for the roles. I pictured Mrs. Rothschild very differently than they present her in the book. I mean, the movie, Margot is too old for my liking in the movie, but she's supposed to be like 19, so I guess it's okay. All the Boys I Loved Before, the first one, really good. Liked it more than the book, I think, just because of the accuracy. It took the things that I didn't like with the book and made them better, made them so I liked them. I've seen it twice. One time so I could like judge it and one time so I could enjoy it, and the first time I judged it so that answers whether or not I would watch them again. And yeah, so it kind of just fixed the things that as I was reading I was like, what is going on here? Because I felt like there were a lot of little subplots that she could have done something with and didn't, or started to do something with and didn't evolve on. And then the second one, in the book, her, like, kind of temporary breakup with Peter was more justified. Her whole relationship with John Ambrose was a lot more complicated. In the book, I wanted her to end up with John Ambrose. And I say, whenever it comes to a love triangle, whoever you thought of second, that's who you should go with. Because if you really liked the first person, you wouldn't have ever looked to the second person. But in the movie, I did not find that. I felt like her and John Ambrose was just like, he likes her, she doesn't know what to do with that. Okay, here she is testing it out. Nope, she didn't like that. And would I watch it again? Yes. Next, another show adaptation is Shadow and Bone, which the show is called Shadow and Bone, but it also has Six of Crows, so that's why I'm holding up Six of Crows. So Shadow and Bone, Six of Crows. Second favorite of all these adaptations that I'm going to talk about. Okay, so for this show, the actors were phenomenally picked. They were like incredible and perfect for the roles. Accuracy, stupendously accurate. Really liked it. Yeah, it was just really well done, and like the changes that were made, I didn't find myself missing anything. Six of Crows portion. Acting, again, phenomenally chosen. Accuracy, not accurate at all. The events of the show never take place, which I was very frustrated about, and that's why it did not get the top spot, because the Shadow and Bone portion was perfect. The Six of Crows portion, not so much. So I'm hoping in the second season that they make it the Six of Crows accurate and the Shadow and Bone part not so much, because I really was excited to see like the ice court and things like that. But I know a lot of people were really pleased with that adaptation, and I watched it before I read Six of Crows, and I was like okay with it. Then after reading Six of Crows, I didn't like it quite as much. But like there was one thing in the show they called the Darkling General Kiergan, and then I'm not done reading Rule of Wolves yet, but in King of Scars and Rule of Wolves there's a guy named Kiergan, and I'm really confused by that. But I assume I just have to read the book and find out. And would I watch it again? Yeah, I've already seen it twice. Now, my absolute favorite movie adaptation, probably my favorite book series ever, The Hunger Games by Susan Collins. Let's start with the actors. The actors are really good. I think that they did parts perfectly, just really well chosen. Accuracy. So it is really accurate, and I liked the way, because it's told from the first person, and Katniss is definitely not a chatterbox or anything like that. She had a lot of things that she explains in her head, but they couldn't do that in the movie. I liked the way that like when she explains what tracker jackers are, instead of her somehow explaining it or us just being clueless, they got what's his face, Caesar, to like explain it, and I thought that was like well done, a good way of making you still understand things. Would I watch it again? I've seen these movies more times than I can count. Lost track at this point. Catching Fire, also really well cast because there were a lot of new characters. I really like Finnick in it. It was pretty accurate. The thing about Catching Fire is like they don't spend a lot of time in the games, which I'm kind of upset about, but I just wish they spent more time in the games. But in the book they don't spend as much time in the games, so I don't know why I expected that. And lastly, Mockingjay. The movies do not like represent her like kind of PTSD and like how bad her mental state is well enough, especially in Mockingjay Part 2. So of the three, I think this might be the worst adaptation, but it's still really good. Like, there you have it, all the movie adaptations that I've watched and my rankings of them. I hope that you enjoyed this probably really long video, because right now it says that I'm at 45 minutes for recording, and a lot of that was picking books off this shelf and pausing, so I'll be interested to see how long this video turns out to be. Probably my longest on my channel. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, look at my other videos because I talk a lot about books, as you can probably tell from the name. Turn on your post notifications so that you get a notification when I post a new video. Thank you so much for watching this. Go watch a movie adaptation. Have a really good day, night, or whatever time it is when you're watching this. Bye!